This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. The Middle Ground Mike is fighting for truth and unity. Subscribe now or support us today. Links are in the notes. Stand with us. And we were talking about Israel, and where I said, hey, I totally support Israel's response in the initial of what happened, right? Any natural country, anybody would naturally respond the way they did. But I kind of felt like where we're at now, it's went too far. I think there is such thing as a response that's gone too far. And I mean, yeah, there's probably the Hamas there that have rockets, but I think overall, you're hurting more children than you are Hamas militants. And if you're talking about terrorists, those kids are going to remember what you did to their parents. And in 20 years, they're going to be just as radicalized, if that's your view on it. And it's blocking aid from people where you can see, children are starving. Not the Israeli people themselves, because ironically, when you look on TV, the Israeli people themselves wanted the war to end a while ago. Their own citizens were protesting to end the war. And I felt like Benjamin Netanyahu is a borderline, I hesitate to say war criminal, but it's in that realm. I think there's a lot you could say to make that case. Just based on, for me, like, hey, man, you've proven your point. It went beyond Palestine. I get that you can link Iran to a lot of things that have to do with that, but you can also link Israel to a lot of things that have to do with that situation. Benjamin Netanyahu, who I believe gave Hamas like $100 million at some point, for whatever it was. So to me, if you're going to use the Iran thing, hey, he's just as guilty. I guess that's just, for me, hey, you went too far. You're outside of the United States now pressuring you to stop. You had zero intentions of stopping. You flat out said, outside of I want to kill them because they're Arab or Muslim, you pretty much said you wanted to wipe it out, in those words, eradicate Hamas. Well, those are people. You're eradicating people. Like, that's borderline genocide. And those statements were very, very concerning to me, and which can lead the world to a dark road. And I just, I was really, Trump now kind of put the pressure on him to, and I think that's what led to the peace deal, and said, hey, okay, yeah, now you're kind of starting to go off the rails a little bit, and I truly believe that we were goaded into bombing Iran, because right before that, Trump had Iran and a lot of the Arab states willing to sit down and recognize Israel, that don't currently recognize them. And then all of a sudden, Israel bombs Iran. And I was like, that was real telling, and it just, a lot of things. And I just started looking at it. I don't think there's like a grand conspiracy. I just think that they believe in what they believe, and they believe in it so strongly, they're willing to burn the world down to prove it. Certain folks over there.